The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
We're going to start reporting 301 Advanced Customs by showing you a report that's already been built using custom columns. The first column that we're looking at here is the employee name and department. This column combines the employee's full name with their department. The fourth column is vacation and personal. This column is combining vacation hours taken with personal hours taken. So this is the final result of two custom columns that were built within TimesheetPlus. So what I want to do now is I want to start by going into the system, and I want to show you a report that had been previously built from a previous Reporting 101 webinar. So this report has employee first name, employee last name. It also has personal hours, vacation hours, has some information in here, but not all the information I need. I want to see the employee's name combined together with the employee's department, which, by the way, if you notice, is not included in this report. I also want to see my vacation hours and my personal day hours combined. So the way that you do that, you're going to go to Custom Settings. And you've probably seen the Custom Setting option before, maybe not sure how you use it, what it's used for. So if I go to Custom Settings, there's 4 tabs available. We're going to start with the Custom Columns tab. In the Custom Columns tab, you'll see that you've got, I'll scroll down, you've got 25 available custom columns that you can enable. For today's webinar, I'm going to go ahead and enable 2 of these. Before we start building these custom columns, what I want to point out, on the right-hand side of the screen, you have valid functions. Valid functions are what you're wanting the report, the column to do for you. Then if I kind of take my attention down to the valid columns, this is what the data is that's going to be in the column. Okay? So this is, again, what I want the column to do, and the valid columns is what data is going to be in the column. Okay? So I want to point out that this webinar is not going to teach you how to write every possible formula for building a custom column. This webinar is really going to teach you the concept of how custom columns work, how they're assigned to a report, how they're built using formulas, how they're assigned to a report, and then some extra little features that you can do with them. Every company is very different. Every company has different needs. So for your particular company, if you have some particular needs, please go ahead and type those questions in or contact us directly, and we can help you with those. So let's get started with building these columns. The first column, the report that you saw, I want to kind of make this somewhat similar to that. So I'm going to say that the first column, the label is going to be employee name and department. Okay. I'm going to keep this a text field, but you can see I've got numeric options, I've got money, date, and time options also. So in this case, I'm going to keep it text. In this column, what I want to do is I want to combine 2 columns together. So I want to look in the valid functions and see what's available as far as the options to combine. I know that to combine things, I need to concat. So I can copy and paste this with the example. What's in parentheses here is kind of an example of what the formula might look like. So I can copy and paste this over here in this white section, which is where you're going to build your formula. I could also just type this in, which you're going to see me do in a few minutes. So now I need to decide what data should go into this column. So again, we know that the valid columns is where I get the data. So if I can scroll down, I'm looking for employee full name. So employee full name, this information, employee full name description, this is probably what you're familiar with. This on the left-hand side is the description that you need to use for these formulas. If I copy the formula, I highly recommend copying and pasting in the case of valid columns. So I'm going to go ahead and paste, and I just Control-V and Control-C does work with custom columns. You can do that within TimesheetPlus. So now I've got the employee full name. I'm going to also grab the employee department, default department. Here's the default department. And I'm going to paste it over this text here. And I don't need the rest of this. Okay? So what this would return for me is employee full name and department, whatever that department is. But I want a space between this. So I actually have to tell the system to do that. It works very similar to Excel. So I'm, again, going to just tell the system to put a little dash between employee full name and department. And I want to point out that I'm using employee full name even though it's not in the report itself. Okay, so this column is now built. The next column is the column that we had built or that I built previously to combine vacation and personal hours. So I'm going to call this one vacation and personal. And this time it's a time column. Notice the format option opens up. I can select the format that I want the hours, this column, to be in. In this case, I'll just choose hours, hours, minute, minute. And I have the option to sum this, which in this case I want to. So earlier you'd see me copy and paste this concat. I don't want to do that this time because I know the formula. So I'm just going to type this in. And I know the formula, the function for to double is that this is going to actually do exactly what I tell it to do, which is going to be to add two columns together. So in this case, now I'm going to go ahead and go to valid columns, and I'm going to need to pull in my time off for vacation and personal. So the data is vacation, and I'm going to scroll down kind of quickly because this is pretty far down. And I'm looking for time off hours. You have to be careful and make sure that you pull in the right column. I'm looking for vacation time off. Okay, so here's vacation time off. This is a perfect example on why you need to copy and paste. You see these descriptions are really long, and easily you could type in the wrong description and pull in the wrong information. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and close this parentheses. And then I'm just going to tell the system to double. It's just the way that this function works, the formula. Then we have, I need to find my personal hours. So here's my personal hours. Again, I'm copying the description, computer description. So this column is now built. I could continue on. I can combine sick and whatever else I wanted to combine here if I wanted to. Formula is built, and I go back up to the top and back up to the 4 tabs. I've built my columns. I don't want to close this because I'm not finished. I'm not ready to use settings yet because I still need to do a few things. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the Columns tab. As we know, everything on the right-hand side of this report is in the report. Everything on the left-hand side can be added. And when you enable custom columns, the custom columns are added at the very bottom on the left-hand side. So I'm going to go ahead and add these custom columns. I'm going to move them where I want them to be. And now I want to go ahead and go to the second tab, which is column settings. In column settings, I can determine the format. You can see this is the format that I chose for the custom column 2. I could change that, and I can also set the other ones. The width, this would be the width on export. The alignment is left and right. We currently don't have center as an option for alignment. Some columns are centered automatically. Okay. Then you have export here. This is probably one of my favorite buttons on this tab because it allows me to determine what I want to export and what I don't want to export. So if I don't want to export the employee's first and last name individually, I can turn that off. I don't maybe need account ID, but I do want my custom column to export. I do want regular and overtime and my custom column too. So you can see that those are turned on. You can see I also can, at this point, still change my label. So in this case, employee name and department, on purpose, I left that lowercase. I can change that. Maybe I don't want it to say employee. Maybe I just want it to say name and department, or maybe EE name. And then here, vacation, maybe I want to shorten it a little bit. We'll keep that personal. Okay, so vacation and personal. All right, so those are the settings here. And then the fourth tab is the extra settings. And these are just some extra export settings that you can use. The first one is display header and footer. Probably one of my favorites to play with here a little bit. Depending on the type of export I'm doing, PDFs, the header and footer usually look pretty good. Excel, not so much always. So I may or may not want that to appear. I can turn that off and set different page breaks. I can do a lot of things from this screen, but it's all export settings. So now from this point, I'm ready to go ahead and use settings. Make sure that you click Use Settings and not the X at the top. If you use the X, you're going to lose everything that you've done. So very important to use settings. So here, you can see that I still have employee first and last name, even though I've got that set to not export. But I also have employee name and department with my new labels. You can see that it's combining those two with the dash between, with the spaces that I wanted. Now I've got vacation and personal here. I do like to spot check things, so I'm going to spot check and make sure the hours look correct. So in this case, the vacation and personal should be a total of 26 hours. 2 hours for personal and 24 for vacation. It looks like my formula is working correctly. So now my next step would probably be to go ahead and save these settings. So in this case, you could give it a new name, you could save it as, or you could just simply save it. So we'll just call this test 1, and I'll do save as. Okay, so let's go ahead and export this into a PDF so you can see what it looks like. Okay, this is the report that we just built. So now what you potentially might do with this report is email this out, attach this to an email and email this out to your different users or different people that you need it to go to. Something that you can do instead of manually emailing this out is use what we call email report generator. We have a lot of companies that use it. It is a very useful tool because it's going to automate that attaching to an email and manually sending out part of the reporting. So the way that once we enable the email report generator, what you're going to have is any reports that are in here, you're going to have this option that says View Email Settings. If I open this View Email Settings, there's no configuration set up right now. The bottom left-hand corner, Add New Email Configuration. You can see that I've got an option to give this a name. I'll just give it a name, Test. I can give it a description also. I can say at 5 o'clock a.m. on every Monday and Friday, I want this report to go out to a particular account, a particular person within TimesheetPlus, a particular group of people in TimesheetPlus. I could even say send it to a certain email that's not even a user of the system if I wanted to. A good way that this is maybe used is maybe you've got a CEO, a CFO that you need to provide it certain information related to time or overtime hours, or whatever it is your need is. You can send this report, a report to this person without them even needing to be in the system or access the system. You can also allow the report to be ran as you, meaning the person building this, or you can have it set up to email the report with the settings, but only with the information that the particular person has access to see. And then you also have options to set what the email says to the recipient of the email. So you have a lot of flexibility with the email report generator. Okay. So that concludes reporting 301. I'm going to wait just a second to see if we have any questions. Okay, one question that I do have is the renaming of a report. If you can rename the custom column report, you can rename it. It is, if I go back to this test 1 report, in custom columns, in custom settings, I cannot rename it here. I can't rename custom column here. But if I go to column settings, I can rename it here. So the answer is yes, you can rename it. You just have to rename it under column settings. Okay. The next question is, do you have a cheat sheet for the formulas? I do have a cheat sheet for formulas. If you're interested in that, let me know and I can get that to you. The next question is, how do you get access to the email report generator? That is something that you'll need to let us know that you're interested in. There is a small fee. It's based on usage. It's based on gigabytes that you use or that you email out. It is very inexpensive, and it again is based on what how much you use the email report generator. It's not going to charge you per employee. Okay, I think that's all the questions that I have. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at Datamatics, TSB support at datamatics.com. You can give us a call also. Don't forget to complete the survey at the end of this webinar. It does help to us to improve our webinars and to offer you webinars that you're interested in seeing. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to attend today's webinar. I hope you have a great day. Thank you.